In today's lesson, you're going to be learning how to use coloured pencils to make a variety of different skin tones using just 5 colours. So for this, you're going to need a yellow, an orange, a purple, a light brown and a dark brown. And you need to make sure that all your coloured pencils are nice and sharp. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a tonal bar using each of these coloured pencils to give us an understanding of how dark we can get them and how light we can get them. So I'm going to start with my dark brown, and at the top of my page I'm going to create a tonal ladder. So this is where it goes from the darkest shade you can create to the lightest shade. So I'm going to start with my darkest shade. So I'm applying as much pressure as I can, and then as I move to the right I'm gradually getting lighter and lighter, and I'm applying less pressure. You might need to go over this a couple of times just to make sure that those tones blend seamlessly. I'm then going to use the light brown and do the same. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to have a go at trying to blend from one of these colours to another. So you can select any 2 colours you want, and what I'd like you to do is have a go at transitioning from one colour into another, making sure that that blend in the middle is absolutely seamless. So I'm going to go for a purple into a yellow. I'm going to start with my lightest colour first, and I'm going to do exactly like I did up here with my tonal ladder, starting from the darkest, moving across into my lightest. Then I'm going to pick up my purple, and this time I'm going to start this end, and I'm going to do a reverse tonal ladder. So I'm going to start dark at this end and gradually get lighter as I move or transition into that yellow. Notice how I'm holding my coloured pencil quite close to the tip of my pencil. This means that I've got more control and I'm able to apply more pressure. I'm going to go back into my yellow because I want to make sure that that transition between the 2 colours is seamless. So I'm going to pick up my yellow again, and I'm just going to go over it again, this time applying a little bit more pressure. And you might find you have to go between the 2 colours a couple of times just to really get that blend how you want it to be. Okay, so moving forward, after we've done all our tonal ladders, we're now going to have a go at practicing skin shades. So I'm actually going to show you how to create 3 different skin shades, a light shade, a medium shade and a darker shade, using just these 5 pencils. So we're going to begin with the palest shade, and to begin with we are going to need to start with the orange. So underneath your tonal ladder, just start applying a very light shade of orange. So notice how I'm holding my pencil now towards the other end. This is so that I apply only a light bit of pressure. To create skin tones effectively with coloured pencils, it's all about layering and blending. So you want to start with a nice light coat to begin with, and then build it up to get your skin tone. So I'm going to start by adding a very light shade of orange, and I'm going to do this in a circular shape. So very, very lightly. Once you've done that, you're then going to add another really light layer of purple. So if we look at our tonal ladders we did at the beginning, I'm trying to add a layer that is this light, so right at the end of my tonal ladder. So applying a very, very light layer. Next I'm going to go in with the orange again, just to help blend those 2 different colours together, kind of like what we did on the second tonal ladder. Next I'm going to go in with the light brown, and what I'm going to try and do is try and make this circle look 3D. So on the left hand side I'm going to add a slightly darker shade, and then up here that's where I want my highlight to be. So I'm going to take my light brown and I'm just going to start applying little bit more pressure. So notice how I've come down the pencil, a little bit more pressure, and I'm just layering that very softly around this part of the circle. So I'm doing small circular motions. Now I'm going to go in with the darkest brown and just really emphasize that darker side. I'm going to go back in with my light brown and then just work them in, blend them together to make sure that's nice and seamless. You then might find that you need to go back in with the orange or the purple just to help smooth everything else. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of orange. Remember, you want your highlight to be up here. And then a little bit more purple. Now that I've got my pale tone, I'm now going to move on to a medium skin tone. So for this one, I'm going to start with a yellow. This time I'm applying a little bit more pressure. So again, notice how my hands are sort of down the middle of the pencil now rather than this end. So I'm going to add quite a generous amount of yellow, still not pressing the heaviest I can though. I'm sort of here in my tonal ladder, so I'm sort of at the middle. Got a nice even amount of yellow. I'm then going to go in with the light brown and just go over the whole of that yellow. This time, notice how I've gone down to the bottom end of my pencil, so I only want a light amount of brown. So the idea is to keep layering those colours until you're happy that they have blended together. Like I keep saying, you might need to go back and forth between two colours to make sure that they have merged seamlessly. Next, I'm going to go in with the darker brown because this is more of a medium tone we're trying to create. And again, I'm going to make the left-hand side darker. So I'm going to go in with the dark brown down this side. So I'm doing small circular motions. And what I want to do is I want to pull some of this dark brown across more of the circle because, like I said, this is meant to be a medium tone. So I'm going to bring more over. You might want to do small strokes using slightly curved lines to create the illusion that this is a 3D circle, a sphere. Now I'm going to go in with my orange to help blend these together. Go in with my yellow. And then again, back in with my dark brown. Might also just go over with a little bit of purple, so very light shade. And there you have a medium tone skin colour. Next, we're going to move on to the darker skin tone. So to start with, you're going to need your purple, and then you're going to put down quite a generous amount of the purple. So I'm going to draw out my circle, and then I'm going to shade that in with my purple. Then you're going to go in with the light brown and try and blend those two colours together. Notice how the base of this one already is far darker than our first two. Now I'm going to go in with my dark brown, and again, left hand side I'm going to make darker. So I'm going to really apply some pressure, so I'm sort of working towards this end of my tonal bar now. So my fingers are close to the end of my pencil so that I've got more control and I can apply more pressure. So I'm going to go back to my light brown now, and I'm just going to blend those different colours together. Add a little bit of purple. And then I'm going to add some finishing touches with the dark brown.